And loads of people get rave reviews. It's the best thing ever. Blah blah blah. I mean, because that's what we're getting.
Well,
Literally among the best superhero films ever made. So
but
really,
isn't that standard for every new comic book movie? It's the best comic book movie ever since the previous comic book movie.
since Endgame is the thing. There's so many things which are identical in these people's reviews. I couldn't help but point them out.
Identical things in reviews. So we have talking points.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, like unequivocally. So these are da, 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 these are our talking points. So Hollywood Reporter just could have compiled a lot of the Twitter ones, right? So see if you can tell it. DC's The Flash is tremendous. Forget DC. It is without a doubt among the best superhero films ever made. An all-timer, inventive storytelling, fantastic action sequence, great cast, so many nerdy details. I'm in tears at the end. Everything you want from a superhero film and more. Flash is hands down one of the best superhero films of all time. No joke, The Flash is the ultimate movie-going experience. It has a little bit of everything: action, emotion, heart, humor, and plenty of nostalgia. The Flash, far more madcap than I expected, really nailed that, what reading a 5-issue crossover comic book is like. Tons of Ezra Miller being zany and time paradox stuff. Nerds will lose their minds at the time, at the ending, and the beginning and middle comics. Just watch The Flash at CinemaCon. It has some stuff in it you will not believe, and it showcases much more of Barry Allen's powers. It is indeed one of DC's best, and fits nicely as a bridge story between the old and new. It's the funniest DC movie. That doesn't make me excited. A funny DC movie. It's not great, but never mind. And then here we have it. So as good as rumored, it's Back to the Future meets Spider-Man. Heartwarming and fun. And this is
I gotta laugh at the Spider-Man No Way Home thing, because the Spider-Man No Way Home only exists because of this movie.
Yeah, true. I don't know what to say other than The Flash delivered more than I could have hoped. The acting is great. Keaton delivers everything you want. Supergirl's my new favorite superhero. I'm genuinely shocked this movie meets and surpasses the hype. I never expected that. The Flash is fantastic. I know Ezra Miller has made a lot of mistakes, but they are so good. He is so good in this movie. Love Keaton, the action, humor, and emotion. Humor, emotion. This is the recurring trend, by the way. It's humor and emotion. This fucking Matt Ramos.
I just wanted to throw in real quick there that guy you just saw there, Steven Weintraub, Frosty Weintraub.
He's
if you just want like a distillation of like these are the talking points that the studio have asked you to disseminate, just look to him.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, and so again, yeah, damn, The Flash is good, super inventive, both visually and concept. Emotions hit me intensely hard. Flash is awesome, one of the very best DC movies. A blend of heart and humor. There's honestly heart and humor.
Heart and emotion are basically the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, humor and emotion, heart and humor. That's the thing that we're getting recurring. Humor and hope, heart, humor, and hope. Do you see the recurrent, like literally?
But everybody loves Supergirl, so we're all going to forget about Henry Cavill.
Yeah, emotional stakes, extraordinarily funny. How are they all saying the same thing if it's not talking points?
You killed baby Clark. It's so funny.
Oh God. Perry Nemiroff caught an unfinished cut. I thought she's a chill as well. Dug it quite a bit, especially how the narrative challenges Barry to confront who he is, who he could have become, and how one's influenced by the people.
Wait a minute, hold up, time out. This movie comes out in just over a month.
Yeah.
It don't have a locked cut yet. They've been making this movie for 7 years.
I know. That's the hilarious part.
The hell is what? Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Done and polished and ready for video.
I honestly, they should have printed all the DVDs and Blu-rays.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's how finished this movie should be. Which speaks volumes as to why you're seeing everyone saying exactly the same thing. Because one, it is an unfinished cut that should not be unfinished. Secondly, they're all saying exactly the same things consistently. That's because they're like, shit, yeah, we don't really know what we're doing with this film still. You're a month away. I mean, that's horrendous. Andre, you want to?
Yeah, no, that's not impressive at all. I mean, I would have imagined that this thing had been locked certainly since November. Because what we heard, and I believe this, is that the only thing that they really had to do with the movie ever since James Gunn decided we're going to reboot this is just cut away like any build up for future sequels. That's it. You just had to make those cuts.
And
that should
like
be I mean, that should be something that you fix in an afternoon. It's like, okay, we make these cuts, movie still works. Okay, we're going to move around this here and there and there. Okay, like give it 2 days then it should be ready. This movie should have been done in November, December. And here we are in almost May, and they're still not complete. That's insane.
Yeah, because the only thing that really sounded like it changed majorly for me that I could tell in your listing there was that they just pulled out the Michael Keaton bit at the end and left it ambiguous. That's
exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing... So from when I had, a breakdown of the film, there's nothing drastically different there. And that was over a year ago now. Like it was a bloody long time ago. And what was said back then was that there was some really, and that goes back to the Dark Flash, is that there was some really dodgy, almost Power Rangers-esque practical VFX towards the end. And it doesn't even sound like they finished that. That's bad. That's real bad.
You know why I think this might be, and I'm just speculating here. Remember, I was hearing for a long time they were contemplating on recasting and reshooting and doing all that kind of crap. Yeah. I think they may have stopped doing any post-production until they had decided. I think so.
Yeah, that's a pretty...
thing that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say that makes perfect sense, actually. I mean, yeah, what else? Why else would you do it?
Because, I mean, yeah, I was exaggerating a little bit, but this movie's been done for the better part of 3 years almost. They've done a few reshoots since then. I know. So, like, there's no real excuse here for this, unless they actually stopped on purpose.
Yeah, and that is probably what they did. I mean, but even then, like, the CG on a whole, they could have finished. Like the dodgy, wonky CG of Supergirl flying around, and it looks weird anyway. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, I've heard very good things about this film, and they're parroting a lot of the stuff which I had heard early on, but it's still not a good sign that they haven't finished it, and it's still not a good sign that the studio is giving talking points. Just be confident in the film.
Oh, by all accounts, we've heard that the movie is supposed to be really good. And the talking points echo that, but it'll be interesting to see if the audience feels the same way when they get to see it. I don't think that the response from the general audience is going to be as glowing as what we're hearing right here. Like, for instance, this Sasha Kaye Supergirl thing. I'm sure that she does good. I don't mean to, like, drag on her a second, but I do believe that the general audience will pick up on the fact that you just killed Henry Cavill before he, as a baby, and you just replaced Superman with girl boss Superman. We have now seen enough signs that the audience have had it with that. And what do they do? Girl boss Superman.
It does sound like they've removed the elements that made a joke of that, though, which is good, because when I heard about this film, they'd literally laughed it off that they'd killed Superman as just, it was a joke, like, ha ha ha, whatever, he's dead, who cares? And it was literally played off as a joke. It sounds like they've removed that, maybe, from everything, but that's still unconfirmed.
That would have been a very, very Ansarnoff thing to do, because Ansarnoff, she was the Kathleen Kennedy of Warner. She's fired now, but she was the one who was really determined that, yeah, we're going to do the DCU now with a female trinity, where the DC universe is going to be led by Batgirl, Supergirl, and Wonder Woman, and none of these toxic men. That was the intention. And of course, under that regime, she wouldn't laugh off Kal-El dying off, of course. But I don't know that the audience would be laughing at that.
Well, it does sound like at least Supergirl and Batman sacrificed themselves in this version. That's different too. But that's the only thing I can see is a lot of people are just being distracted by Michael Keaton being in this movie. Because really, Because we've heard the story 12
Yeah.
times now. Nothing has really changed in the grand scheme of things. And all these people going, oh, it's like Back to the Future meets Spider-Man No Way Home. It's like, you can say that, but I think, Andre, you're right to a point, because I was the first one to kind of start putting that out, but I think people are going to take a while before they come around to it. I think we had this conversation before where I think it's going to take some people a little bit to figure it out, because they're going to be so distracted by Michael Keaton
Oh
and,
yeah.
and jizzing in their
For sure.
pants after all the Michael Keaton stuff that they'll be like, wait a minute. They just
Well, there was
erased
another
Henry
movie
Cavill.
like that, wasn't there? Was
Like-
another movie like that as well, wasn't there? Where they did something like that, and then people realized after the fact, they were like, "Oh, wait, actually, this was shit." What movie was? I mean, there's a lot of movies like that, but there was a pretty big one.
One that sticks up off top of my head is there's some people who are finally coming around to Mad Max, the last one, the Furiosa one.
That.
But
No, I don't think it was that. I can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think. I mean, I've been saying from the off, and I'm sure you guys have. We have it on here anyway. Is that your marketing? If your marketing push is predominantly a character that's not your lead, I mean, you're selling the film on someone else entirely, then aren't you? Like, there's a problem. You're trying to push Michael Keaton because people are like, yeah, we love Michael Keaton. I mean, where's your star? Who's the star of this movie? It's Michael Keaton, isn't it? Well, that's not good. That's not a good sign at all. Not good.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how it's going to play out. I mean, I keep hearing people say it's so great, it's so great, it's so great. Either these people are just not that big of Henry Cavill fans to begin with, or they're not that familiar with the Flashpoint story. Because I could see somebody going, "Oh, this is an amazing story," if it's the first time you're kind of being familiarized with it. But once you start thinking about Flashpoint, the logic of it breaks down horribly. Because, like, why would Barry doing something in his life affect anybody else? There's no reason I mean, they have this stupid, like, Speed Force thing that messes everything up. It's like, it's still stretching it. Like, how in the hell would Barry changing things mess up Superman coming to Earth? Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just the little things logically start to fall apart.
Well, it's pre his powers anyway. So it's even pre. So yeah, Henry Cavill Superman coming to Earth is pre Barry Allen gaining powers. So from a logic perspective, it wouldn't make any sense that him going back in time to the point at which his mother dies. That wouldn't.
Yeah, and the animated Flash movie did it about as best as it could with the illogicalness of it all. And that's the other thing. How long before people realize what they missed out on? Sure, we got Michael Keaton Batman, but we didn't get Thomas Wayne, the badass Batman, and Bruce Wayne's mom is the Joker either. So, like, that's, to me, the best part of the story, and that's not there.
And you know what? That kind of like makes me think, what a waste of opportunity there was there. Because if you think back to Batman v Superman, for all the flaws of that movie, who were the actors who were playing Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne in the opening sequence?
Oh, it was the comedian, and I can't remember the chick's name.
Yeah, anyway, but the point is that both of them are solid actors. I forgot the name
Something
of them.
Dean Morgan, and then, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey
can't believe I forgot that.
And the reason that he was cast, imagine him as Thomas Wayne.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be great.
How would that have been? Because that was the intention. That's why he was cast. Because they were thinking, like, this was part of Zack Snyder's roadmap the whole time, that they were going to do Flashpoint. It was going to completely change everything. But they were going to do the Flashpoint story with Thomas Wayne and with the crazy Martha Wayne Joker. That's why they had these two amazing talents in what right now are throwaway bit parts that anyone could have done any extra. They were set up to be the female Joker and Thomas Wayne Batman, and we never got that now. And you know that however fun member berries it is with Michael Keaton, I think that we lost out on a far better movie this way right here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, and it's not really leading up to anything, right? If anything, most people are saying it puts a cap on the Snyderverse, basically.
Exactly, that's the plan right now. Of course, that was the plan the whole time, because the original plan for Snyder was that, okay, this is just like a detour, You fuck up the
Mm.
universe over the course of the movie, but just like in the animated version, all is good and well by the end of it again. And then you move forward, maybe change whatever needs to be changed. That was the plan. That was the initial roadmap. But of course, then it became, now we're going to end everything Snyder and create our new DCU. That was the initial intention when the movie actually entered production. And now, just end everything, which leaves no room and no need for Aquaman 2 later on here. So yeah, good going.
Well, I just think if you're selling your movie, as I said, not even on the star of the show, there's a problem there. There's a massive problem.
I think it's going to have a strong opening. I think it's going to surprise some people. But whether or not it has staying power all depends on how long it takes for people to figure out the things we were just talking about, right? Like,
well, how much was the budget?
Oh God, we don't know yet. They've never really said. Initially, was around 200 million, but they have reshot this thing so many times that I've heard rumors that it's cost upwards of 500 some million. In fact, I've been told it costs more than Justice League's reshoots.
Well, it also had the COVID 25% add-on as well because it was shot during that time. Would have had those delays.
Ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, on top of it all, yeah.
Over 300 million, easy.
Oh yeah,
easy. This film won't make money. It won't turn a profit. That will struggle to break even. If it's $300 million, that's going to struggle to break even massively.
Yeah, it's going to have to be $1 billion movie.
Well, and that's what I've been saying. Some people are like, why didn't they just cancel it? Well, I had heard several reasons why they couldn't just cancel it like Batgirl. But also it makes sense, like, hey, if this movie doesn't make any money, because those reasons I heard it had to be released besides the licensing deals was the back-end deals. If it don't make any money, they don't have to pay any of those back-end deals. Because I'm sure Michael Keaton's got a nice fat back-end deal. I'm sure Ezra and Michael Shannon's got a nice fat back-end deal. Anybody who's like a returning cast member probably has a percentage coming back to them. But if it doesn't make any money, they don't have to worry about that. And I'm sure they're worried about it because look at how much Wonder Woman 84 cost them. People don't stop to think about how much that actually cost. They lost more than just what they lost at the box office there because they had to pay out Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins for their back-end deals.
Well, that film sunk Patty Jenkins' career. Fucking
well, she needed that money, basically.
Goodness me. Just as a quick one, read this, Sean Farrell says, I think these budget claims are nonsense. They're scamming the tax man to Superman 4 and all these Marvel and DC movies. They're not. So to put it into real perspective, honestly, that's complete nonsense. I understand why you think that, right? But it's categorical fact that they do spend these sums of money on these films. And the reason why I say that is the UK, with their tax filings, companies have to be transparent. They literally file it, and I can Google, any limited companies in the UK, and I can on Companies House, and I can find what they're spending, profits, loss, all this kind of stuff. And we had it recently with the Jurassic World films because we learned that they cost sometimes 3 times more than their estimated budgets that were revealed. Literally insane figures. Wasn't one of them $500 million, the budget? It was something just madness like that. Absolute madness. And you look at where they're spending it as well. Like one of them was on like a £600 a night hotel for the cast and the crew. What are you doing? £600 a night for a room for cast and crew, loads and loads, thousands of people. So no, like these budgets are legit. They do just piss money up the drain, or piss money down the drain. They're just insane. The budgets are madness, and you're right because you're like, oh, the films look like shit. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do look like shit. I don't know where it goes, but they do. That is the money that they spend.
Well, and yeah, there is some. I mean, you're right. I mean, it all depends on where they're shooting things. They have to report certain things there, and then they could shoot things other places. It's like the Indiana Jones thing. The only reason we have an estimated budget for that is because we know what they spent in the UK. We don't know what they spent on shooting here.
But you have to shoot a certain amount in that. You have to, as a company, you have to spend a certain amount in the UK to even get the tax benefit. So you can guarantee that it'll be the majority of the film will be shot in the UK if they're filing their tax record, their company's records in the UK, because it has to be, legally to get that tax break. But you're right. Like, I mean, these budgets, they're madness. I mean, the Flash is going to seriously struggle. I think.
I'm not sure they care, but yeah, no, normally they would. In this case, though, I think they're just kind of chalking it up to like whatever they do get out of it, fine. But at the end of the day, I think they're just trying to meet an obligation.
I think what's interesting about the Flash is that they clearly have some confidence in it, or they're doing it as a loss, because they brought it to the Super Bowl. They would have spent millions on that trailer, millions on the Super Bowl trailer. Like,
well, I wish Mikey was around, because I pull him in and he'll tell you how much of a write-off most of this shit is. If it at the end of the day,
yeah, it's crazy, absolutely crazy.